We have taken note of the will of the British citizens who wish to leave the European Union. Let's be honest, this clarifies a situation of uncertainty and dispute in the European Union that has taken nearly 40 years. So a clear decision by the British citizens on this issue of leave of remain was very needed. And I think that we have for 100% to respect the will of the British citizens, and that means that immediately this will of the British citizens is implemented by starting Article 50 of the treaty and by having a notification by the British authorities the fastest as possible. And I cannot understand what Mr. Cameron has said a few moments ago. I find it unacceptable what he has said, that he's going to wait until October and let it over to his successor. That means concretely that it could be possible that in the whole 2016 there is no notification of the British decision, what is against the will of the British citizens. And that we continue the uncertainty that exists already now. Uncertainty of the markets will continue in the coming months. Uncertainty not only on the markets and in the economy, but also uncertainty on the political level will continue. And it could create also huge problems, imbalances in other countries of the European Union. It could create a contagion effect. So I think that we have to be very serious about this. The decision of the British citizens to leave the European Union were very clear. Did end a discussion of nearly more than 40 years with opt-ins, opt-outs, rebates, earmarks, you name it, who has made more difficulties in the Union than give us solutions. But we have to be serious about it. It means that we start Article 50, and there has to be a notification the fastest as possible, and not somewhere at the end of 2016 or the beginning of 2017, because that is creating turmoil on the markets, in the economy, in the European economy, but certainly in the British economy, and also political turmoil. My second remark is that I'm not surprised by the outcome of this referendum. I'm not surprised because what people have voted is that they have no trust in this union as it works today. I don't see it as a vote against Europe. I see it as a vote against this European Union as it functions today. And this union is not a union. This union is a loose confederation of nation states, 28, now 27, based on the principle still of unanimity, always acting too little, too late. And the real conclusion, for me, of the outcome of this referendum is that we have to rethink this European Union and not to do what some leaders maybe wish to do, that is business as usual, okay, let's calm down it all and we continue simply with the previous story. What happened after the referenda in 2005 in the Netherlands, and what happened in the referendum also in France. The best way to react to this outcome of this referendum is not business as usual, but is to start an in-depth reform of the European Union. Because, and I want to repeat that, people are not against Europe, people are against a certain way of Europe, the way we have managed the European Union the last years and the last decades. And I'm pleased that for the first time also the President of the Council, Mr. Tusk, has recognized that, because he has stated in the statement of today, he calls for an informal meeting of the 27 leaders of the European Union to start to rethink Europe and to start also to discuss the future of the European Union. And it is our duty to do so. Our duty to reform, to modernize, to make it also less bureaucratic, to make it work, this new European Union, to rethink it. It's our duty. It's our duty to the new generations in Europe. Because let's not forget, 70% of young people in Britain voted for the project of Europe. And it is these young people who shall have to live with the outcome for a long time. Hopefully for them 60, 70 years, all 60, 70 years, they shall have to live with the outcome of this decision. With the outcome of a decision that they didn't want, because they wanted to remain, to continue Europe. So the best way to pay tribute to them, to their opinion of all these young people in Great Britain, is really now to rethink the European Union. And to make from this European Union what the founding fathers initially had in mind. That was not a loose confederation blocked by a unanimity rule that always delivers too little, too late, but it is a smaller, less bureaucratic political union who is capable with a small government. We don't need 28 commissioners with 28 portfolios. We have not even enough competences for them. So such a new union, including not only on economic issues, on political issues, but also on security and defense matters, is now, I think, the way forward. And Parliament is preparing this. We have not waited for the outcome of this referendum. In October, Parliament will approve 3 major reports to prepare this fundamental exercise. A report of changes that are needed and necessary within the existing treaty. A second report on how the governance of the Eurozone will look like and is needed in the coming decades. And a third report, why I'm the rapporteur, a report on the future of the European Union beyond the existing treaty, so the necessary treaty revision that is necessary. And the idea of the Parliament is that these 3 reports will be jointly discussed and approved, hopefully, in October, and could be a fruitful basis for this necessary exercise we need. Thank you very much.
We have time for 2, maybe 3 questions. Xara first.
You sound like you're
sorry.
Hara Gyoka from Actua TV. Actually, I am understanding from your speech that you are in favor of integration, as you had stated so many times. But you have also stated a few days ago that Europe has 2 enemies, let's say, in air quotes, Mr. Putin and Mr. Farage. And you said that they have interests. They want Europe divided. Which are these interests?
First of all, I am when I speak about integration, about another type of integration, not this type of integration, because this type of integration is a stalemate. We never decide, because with 28, it's impossible to decide and to tackle the refugee crisis, to tackle the security crisis, to tackle also the challenge of terrorism, to tackle the geopolitical weakness of Europe. That are the challenges. And if you ask to people, do you want that Europe give answers to tackle the challenge, the answer of the people is yes. But the answer of the people is no, like in the British referendum. If you ask them, is this union capable to do that? It's not difficult then to see and to say, no, they are not capable to do that today. So we need this reform. And secondly, on your second question, I think that a negative fallout of this referendum, okay, but it's like that. We have to respect it. Is naturally the geopolitical problem. We are divided between the continent and Britain. That's a bad thing. And it's certainly true that Vladimir Putin is the man who likes it, a divided European Union. And he shows it in all respects, also by financing even political parties who are against the idea of Europe.
Can we restore confidence?
Sorry, it's your turn. We can take one more question.
You sound like, with respect, that you're almost quite glad to see the back of the UK, almost that you're kind of annoyed they come here, they try to negotiate their opt-ins, their opt-outs, their rebates. Is that true? Do you see Britain as a bit of a thorn in the side of the EU and the EU's better off without them? And secondly, what's your reaction to the resignation of David Cameron? And do you take any responsibility for that, for failing to offer the reform which he came here to ask for?
Yeah, that's his responsibility, and that's also his decision. Of the Prime Minister of Britain. My only remark on this was that it's not very serious to have the outcome of this referendum and then to say, okay, I will not start Article 50. First of all, we need to wait an internal catfight in the Conservative Party. An internal catfight of the Tory Party is needed. And the whole continent, and all the British citizens included, who voted, have to wait for it. That's not serious at all. It is creating uncertainty politically, and certainly uncertainty in the economy, in the British economy and on the markets. And that is not what we need.
So are you glad to see the back of Britain, do you think? Thorn in the side of the European Union?
Sorry?
Are you almost glad to see the back of Britain?
No, I prefer a totally different outcome, but I was not voting in the referendum. In my opinion, the best outcome would be that Britain stayed in the Union, because that had strengthened the political and geopolitical role of the European Union. And for that reason, it's a sad day, yeah.